Also MB, and I am delighted to have you guys joining me today on the podcast. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend and glad to have you joining us back for another Monday. And as you're preparing yourself and for your day and for your week. And I just wanted to share a couple of little points with you, amen, and just to set your day and to set your week. I know for most of you guys, you're probably off in celebrations of Dr. King, and today is Monday, and we are celebrating this Monday the life and the legacy of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. His birthday was on Friday, January the 15th, and he was born in 1929. So actually on Friday, he would have been 92. If he was still living here with us. And so we celebrate his life and all of the accomplishments and all of the things that he has done and he has worked so hard to do. And I think it should be a challenge for each and every one of us that our lives will be patterned somewhat in the same areas to help mankind, because that was his ultimate goal, was to help mankind and to better life as a whole. Which brings me to my topic today, and that is, this is your story. This is your story. Quite a few eye-opening things took place on Friday for me. Of course, Friday was Dr. King's birthday, and but my day started off Friday with a phone call from a very long-time friend of mine. I think that I have known his family and he's known my family. I grew up pretty much well with them and around them. We fellowship with their church and so much great things happen. And I had almost a 2 hour, and I wasn't timing it, but it probably was 2 hours, if not a little bit more, conversations with him. And the Lord has blessed him now to be a pastor and doing some great things. But in that almost two hour conversation, he shared with me his life. And it was amazing that, basically from when he was about 13 all the way up to current time. And I think he's about, he's 50, if I'm not mistaken, or somewhere in that neighborhood, and all the way up to the current time of his life. And as he talked in that almost 2 hours, his conversation was amazing. And it included some of his mistakes. It included his failures. It included his attacks. It included his betrayals that are those that betrayed him. And he included his overcomings. He included his successes, his accomplishments, and even he talked about his futuristic plans. And it was an amazing conversation. But as he was talking, first of all, I thought about a sermon that I had preached out of all things at a funeral, a sermon that I had preached some time back. And the sermon was entitled, "This is My Story." And the sermon was taken out of Psalms 90 and verse number 9. And I'm gonna just read it to you, because I always try to give you guys a scriptural balance whenever I share anything with you. But David wrote this, and he said, "For all of our days are passed away in thine wrath." And this is the key point that I used that day, and the key point that I want to share with you on today. He said, "We spend our years as a tale." That word tale means story. We spend our years as a story that is told. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't get but one life to live. And in this life we live, we are literally writing our story. And I want you to keep that in mind. We are literally writing our story. The good, the bad, the ugly, and the sad. We are writing our story as we live each and every day. The good things, the happy things, the sad things, our mistakes, our failures, our successes, all of these things, we are writing our story. This is amazing. 2 points that I want to share with you, and I'm going to be done and leave for you to take. Number one, since we are writing our story, I believe that it's important that we share our story, that we share our story. Now, let me just share this with you as a point of wisdom. In sharing our stories, the participants is not important or not as important as the events and the outcome. I probably need to say that again. As we share our stories, our successes and our failures, our mistakes and all that other stuff, the participants who was involved is not as important as the event itself, what was done, and the outcome. You know, I'm an avid watcher. Y'all, I tell y'all often of the different things that I watch, and I don't watch it as much as I used to, but I used to watch a lot of Law and Order, and I liked the Special Victim One series that they had, and then one of the other series that kind of dealt more in the court side of things. And but at the beginning of every one of those shows, it says that these are stories that has been taken from the files of the New York Police Department, and the names has been withheld to protect the victims or those that participate. Now, sometimes when we tell our stories, we've got to include who did it, you know, and all that other stuff. But that is not the ultimate important thing as much as the event, what took place, and the outcome. Because what happens is if you focus on who did it, you're into gossip. But if you focus on what was done and the outcome, then you reveal the testimony. Hello, somebody. You need to share your story. Why is it important to share your story? Because somebody needs to hear whether they read it, whether you put it in a book, whether you put it in an article, they need to read it. They need to listen. They need to hear it if it's being told by your mouth, or simply that it needs to be heard. So whether it's written in a book or whether it is whether it is just simply told, whether we don't have a lot of testimony services anymore, but sometimes our most powerful event is when we communicate with someone just like my friend did, one-on-one in a conversation. And the conversation was so great, just one-on-one. Somebody needs to hear your story. Second point that I want to share with you is be proud of your story. Be proud of your story. You know, Friday again, I said Friday was an amazing day. Friday later on, in our conversation that morning, I told my friend, I said, listen, Doc, I said, I got to go. I said, we've got a funeral today. I got to get ready for that funeral. And I left. And later on that day, we was actually burying a pastor, a friend of mine that I've known for a while. And at the service, another pastor friend of mine who is a wonderful psalmist, he got up and he was on program to sing a solo. And this kind of correlated in the conversation that we had in the song. And it reminded me of this song because of the fact that I've sung this song numerous of times by Bishop Paul Jones, entitled, I Won't Complain. But in the beginning stance of that song, the lyrics of that song, it says, I've had some good days. I've had some hills to climb. I've had some weary days and some sleepless nights. But when I look around and think things over, all of my good days outweigh my bad days. I won't complain. Ladies and gentlemen, our life, this is our life. This is my life. This is your life that we are living every day. And as you accomplish, you can't tell your whole story every time. But sometimes there are times that incidents happen in your life. One specific incident that you'll run into people, and that incident will be applicable to what you have gone through. And listen, it becomes, your telling of the story becomes a testimony. And you testify to them, listen, I went through something very similar to what you went through, or what you are going through right now. And I just want to share with you the outcome that took place in my life. And if he did it for you, he can do it for me. So be proud of your story, even if your story includes mistakes, failures, and all the ugly things that has happened in your life. Is still your story. And David said in Psalms 90 and verse number 9, we spend our years as a tale that is told. Tell that story and be proud of what you've gone through, what you experienced. Be proud of the bad, just like you are proud of the good and the accomplishments, and excited about the great things that you're going to do. Be equally excited. Yeah, I messed up. Yeah, I did that. Yeah, I should not have done that. Yeah, I should not have said that. But you know what? I learned from it, so I won't repeat it again. This is how this is your story. And walk in that. And guys, you will make this world a better place, because people will know that if God did it for you, he can do it for them also. Guys, this has been Apostle MB with your Pondering Points on today. I hope this helped somebody out on today. Tell your story, walk in it, and watch God do great things in your life. You might have a book you sitting on. You might have an article that you can write in somewhere, newspaper or wherever, but tell that story and be proud of it. Don't worry about who was involved. Just worry about and focus on the event and the outcome, and watch great things happen. Guys, I pray you have a wonderful week, wonderful day, and look forward to you catching me back again on next week for Pondering Points Podcast. Shalom.